Welcome, everyone, to Talks with Me, a podcast entertainment edition, the only podcast that breaks down the journey on how to become the next media mogul with weekly interviews with the entertainment industry's hottest and biggest game changers. Today, we have a fire guest. We have Mike Medium in the building. He is a Hot 97 DJ, an international DJ, a heavy hitter. He's DJed in places like Italy, Japan, Sway in the Morning, Summer Jams, and so many more places. There's a list of places that he's DJed, and I'm excited to get into the conversation today. Welcome, Mike Medium.
Hey, what's up, man? How you feeling?
I'm good. How are you? It's been a minute since we've talked, interacted.
Oh yeah. It's been a while, but it's always good to hear from you, so I appreciate it. And thank you for my birthday shout out.
Oh, good. You're welcome. So I guess for this year for your birthday, what are you wishing for career wise?
Build. I want to continue building my following. I also want to travel more. So you named it earlier. Like I've been to Japan, I've been to Italy, and so many other places. But I got a few things on my bucket list. Like I want to DJ in Africa. I want to DJ in South Korea. I want to go to the UK. I want to touch Germany. The
Nice.
Germany thing might happen. It depends. Somebody just reached out to me actually, so we'll see. But I just want to keep traveling more. And
Hmm.
another potential goal, not potential goal, but another goal of mine is I want to go on tour with an artist. I've never done it before,
Nice.
and
Okay.
I want to get that experience. And
Okay. I feel like Africa would be an amazing vibe because, Ghana and Nigeria has just blown up in the last, 5, 10 years when it comes to
yeah,
the year of return and all that, everybody being there for the holidays. So I know that would be definitely on the bucket list.
yeah, and
So
music's popping over
today,
there too.
yeah, exactly,
Hmm.
exactly. Even in South Africa.
Hmm.
So yeah, that would be really dope.
Yep.
So today I want to talk to you about, how you went from being a producer to being a DJ at Hot 97 and then to even becoming a part of DJ Enough's Heavy Hitters. And I normally start my interviews off with this question of how long has your journey been? How many years has it taken for you to get to this spot where you are now?
Well over a decade for sure. So like, just to do it real quick, and then if you want to break it down, we can break it down. But I didn't start DJing like really until maybe my sophomore, junior year of college. Because before I started making beats, like I was making beats in like
Mm-hmm.
freshman year of high school. And then I read an article from Cypher Sounds. Like he was doing an interview and he was saying how like he was a beat maker, a producer, and he decided to be a DJ to support his producing habits and stuff like that. I was like, oh, that would be dope because I could finally figure out like maybe how to get my beats to be placed on certain things, because DJs have a certain
Mm-hmm.
ear, and a lot of great DJs are producers and vice versa. So
And
that's when
then
I
money
started.
wise, I'm assuming that it's easier to get money faster as a DJ than a producer.
I really didn't know, to be honest with you. I just, so how I basically I kind of got looped into it. I just started the radio station that we had in my school in William Patterson. They had two turntables and like a iPad or iPod mixer or something like that. It was something crazy. And I just started trying to figure out how to blend one song to another song on two iPads, two iPods or whatever. And I couldn't figure it out. And I just got obsessed with it. Long story short, got a job at Hot 97 as a part-time temporary street teamer, and then worked my way up the ranks, and I'm here now.
Nice. And I know, I was listening to some of your interviews, and you said that your basically music is in your blood because your father was a guitarist. So
Yeah.
how
He was in
how
a
did
band.
that also influence you?
So I didn't grow up like traditional like people. So my parents are Haitian, so I only grew up with like a lot of Caribbean music. So it was mainly like guitars and pianos and drums and stuff like that. So, everybody they grew up probably with like Marvin Gaye and all stuff like that. Like my parents would listen to Sweet Mickey, Phil Collins, and And then my brother started like introducing me to hip hop. So I think the first group I heard was like Wu-Tang Clan or
Of
whatever.
course,
Like,
classic.
yeah, so that's when I started kind of getting into all that good stuff. But my dad, I wanted to play the drums real bad, but my dad made me take piano lessons, and he made me do guitar school for a while. So I learned how to play guitar before anything, and then I was just always fascinated with music. I had like radios around the house, and I had like little toy radios. There's like a picture of me like on Instagram somewhere with like a little small radio or whatever. Um, but that's kind of how I got into it. Like I was really into like rock music,
Mm.
like Blink 182, Sum 41. Like I was big on like Panic at the Disco, all of them, like super, super huge, like Empire of the Sun, like stuff like that. So that really helped like kind of shape me a little bit more and get a different perspective
I
when it
love
comes to
that.
DJing.
Yeah, like how would you say, do you feel like you learning like the piano and the guitar like help, I'm assuming it helped you as a producer and made it easier maybe for you to like produce notes and produce chords, and I don't know if you read music, but I'm assuming that helped you as a producer, and then did it help as a DJ as well?
Yeah, yeah. The transition was really good because like I knew structure, I already knew like phrasing, I knew
Mhm.
timing and whatnot. So that was already I knew what how things should sound, long story short.
Mhm.
And it made everything easier after that. But stunk as a DJ in the beginning. Like I didn't know that until like probably like maybe a couple of years ago. Somebody was like, yo, when you first started DJing, you were trash, but you killing it now. I was like, oh, okay, thanks. Why didn't you
No,
say it back then, man?
that's a real fan. You know, there's a real supporter. They were there through the tough times.
For real, for real.
So you've been at Hot 97 for like 11 years now. So since you became was it a street soldier? Is that no, sorry. That's the show you worked on where I met you at, right? Street Soldiers.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So since you was on the street team to now it's been 11 years, and we met when you worked with Street Soldiers with Lisa Evers. So where was that during the journey? How many years had it been since you had started at Street Soldiers?
Oh my God. I think I started Street Soldiers probably like 3 years after I started working at the station or something like that. I've been doing that for a long time. But shout out to Lisa Evers because she taught me a lot too, like learning how to interview people, ask
Mm.
questions, do your research, cross your I's, dot your T's, like be on point. And like, she's very diligent
Mm.
in what she does, and like she's great at getting out information from people. So I hear a lot of things like when I do interviews with people, like people will always compliment me on it, but I get really from her, from Drewski, from Enough. Like I watch everybody, so it's something that really helped me out a lot.
So what did your I guess trajectory at Hot 97 look like? You started on a street team, and then what was like your actual first real job with the company?
No, that really was my real
That
job. Was
was oh, okay. I don't know
yeah.
why I always thought like Street Soldiers was kind of like a volunteer, like an internship thing.
Oh, you mean street team?
Street team, sorry.
Yeah, no, street team not voluntary, no, but so this is how it went. In college, I only wanted to make beats, so my major was something different. Like people wanted my teachers wanted me to be an architect.
Wow.
So I was studying like electric computer engineering when I first
Mm.
started college, and then I was like, this is not really my bag, you know what I'm saying? But so I transitioned into history, and then I went into media production. But how I discovered the radio was a teacher basically told me that, hey, you like making music, we have a radio station here, why don't you join the radio station? So then I joined the radio station, I got hooked, and then that's when I learned how to start DJing or whatever. Then I started reading a book by Lauren Berger. It's called Hard Work, like Hard Work No Play or something like that. Or I forgot the title, but it's Lauren Berger. She's the intern queen. The reason I'm bringing that up is because it basically taught me how to prioritize what I really want in life. So I wrote
Mm.
down the top 10 places I wanted to work at. Number one was Hot 97. Number two is I think MTV, and then Sirius XM. And then I researched, looked up who the hiring manager was, did everything. So I wanted to be an intern. I got the interview to be an intern, and I didn't get the internship.
Mm-hmm.
So then I applied again, and I didn't get the internship, but then they hired me for street team, and it was minimum wage, and it was temporary. So after summer jam, it was supposed to be over. It was like making a band, like really. It was really, no, I'm not joking. Like it was like go walk for cheesecake type of stuff. Like it was crazy. Like I got stories for days, but so I bet I ended up proving myself, and this is all I was while I was full-time student. I had a full-time job at Verizon. I was DJing on the side. I was doing graphics. I
Wow.
was the production director at the radio station. So I had to dedicate like, I think 6 hours at the station each week. And then I had 2 radio shows over there uh, with that I was DJing. So my schedule was crazy on top of doing street team, right? So long story short, they, instead of me being temporary after summer jam, then they made me part-time, and I would get stuff here and there. And it was it took a minute, but I was so shy to talk to people. But you
Mm,
know, I learned this a long time ago. You know, usually success is on the other side of fear. So I
exactly.
started talking to more and more of the personalities and people at the station, and kind of basically just asking for what I want. Like, hey, I want to do X, Y, and Z. And production came. So if nobody knows, like they probably think I'm like producing beats and stuff like that. No, I do commercial production. So I got that job because I asked the production manager at the time. I was like, hey, is there anything? He was like, nope. Then next thing you know,
Mhm.
hit me up, became in the production people, then started
And
moving up.
what's commercial production? Is that like you're not actually making jingles, you're just like helping with the copywriting of the commercials, or how does that work?
All of it.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes I do have to make a. It depends. Like I don't really have to do all the time, but sometimes I do have to make jingles and stuff. Um, but but basically that any audio that comes out the station is usually through commercial production.
Mhm.
Except for imaging. Imaging is we have an imaging director. So anything you hear, like all the commercials and stuff like that, you probably hear my voice on BLS and Hot97 all the time. Also do voiceover work in Africa for a station over there. So did production for a minute, and then I finally got my shot becoming a mixer at the station, and they had summer mix weekends, and that took a minute. That took a while to get, because they didn't. I don't think they wanted me to to do it, so I kept submitting my mixes and stuff like that. But yeah,
So
so
like, and even with the mixers, it's like you're just playing the music. It's not like you're on air, like speaking or anything like that.
no, DJ, yeah,
Oh,
DJ,
okay.
yeah, yeah. So so I was talking and mixing. So shout out to Enough and Flex and Chuck Chill Out and Red Alert for helping me out with that. So then I started becoming regular, and then I got my shot at doing my own show. And that was crazy, but I don't want to keep like elongating these stories, but because it was a long journey. But um then I got my overnight show, and then start doing weekends, and um now I'm here.
Well, I appreciate the breakdown. I mean, for me, I feel like it's so interesting because it, along with like understanding like the grind and the hustle that it takes, it's like really understanding like what the radio business looks like and how many like different ways that you can like actually make money within it and like
Yeah.
grow within it. So, don't please continue to tell the story for sure. When it comes to like being a DJ, what would you say is like the DJ starter kit for anyone that's trying to be a DJ in today's society? Which I know that technology and stuff is so much different, but like to
Mhm.
be an ultimate DJ, should they get the turntables or like should they just learn off of their computer? What would you say is the ideal starter kit?
um I mean, the my real answer is do whatever works.
Mm,
Because nobody is really looking at how you're doing stuff and what you're doing it on. There might be that one person that's like, well, you're not using turntables, you know what I'm saying? Like, um, but for me, I started on turntables. Not to say like, oh, I'm bragging or anything like that, because it's not really like a brag, but um, as long as you can mix from one song to another song seamlessly, or even cut into it, or be creative on how you get from one song to the next song, just do it. Like, I don't care how you do it or what you do it on. I don't care if you're quote unquote like just pre-producing stuff or whatever. Like, get your money, get your bag, do your thing. Because I used to hate on that. Like, I used to hate on people that, like, that would use like the sync button or like, or this, that, and the third. Like, not like super hate, like, oh my God, like, but like it was on some like, oh damn, like, you doing that? But I'm like, yo, it's a tool. At the end of the day, it's all tools. It's just like how we're doing this interview. Traditionally, interviews were done on the radio or on
Or in
TV
the
and stuff like
studio,
that.
yeah.
You're in the studio and you have to get these uplights and this, that, and the third or whatever. But at the end of the day, this is still considered content, and it's gonna be however it is entertaining to the viewer. However you get it off, you get it off. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's totally fine. Like, it's just as long as the quality is good, we're gonna get it done. And you could speak to that more than anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, this platform is gonna continue to move up and up and up and up. And next thing you know, you're gonna be sitting across from Oprah and maybe DJ Khaled. Don't laugh, no, no, like,
no, I'm claiming it. Like,
yeah, and it's the same story as like a Quinta Brunson, or the same story as a Issa Rae and whatnot. Like, they all started where we were right now, and it's about the quality of the content. They had bad lighting and whatnot, but the storyline kept us in there. You know what I'm saying? The jokes were funny, and that kept us coming for more and more and more. If your content's trash, it's trash. You know what I'm saying? Regardless, you can have the most expensive equipment in the world. It don't really matter. So my advice to DJs is, like, literally do whatever works. Just make sure you go from one song to the next song. Look at the people that's in front of you. Like, literally take your head from the laptop or wherever you're at. Look at the people. If they're bobbing their head, you're doing a great job. If they're not, you stink. That's literally, it's like being a stand-up comedian.
Oh my goodness, yes. I feel like sometimes that frustrates me when I go to clubs and stuff, and I'm like, nobody in here is dancing. Nobody's enjoying the music. Why is he not changing or she not changing the music?
Right.
So when it comes to like creating like and correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm assuming like every DJ has their own style and like flow of how they like mix music. Like, what did that process look like for you with like creating your own style when it came to being a DJ?
So I'm everybody's different, right? Like, it's almost like a relationship, right? All right, the best way I can describe it is like when you try to holler at somebody, right? Say you as a woman or me as a man, we try to talk to the opposite sex or whoever we want to talk to. We can approach them 1,000 different ways. It just has to be authentic to who you are. So maybe at first I was trying to pretend to be like my brother and DJ like him, or DJ like my first mentor, DJ Myth or whatever, and like try to cut like him and whatnot. But I tried to sound more like Cypher Sounds, Funk Flex, Enough, and just like literally just like try to do what they did and like cut records and stuff like that. And some of it worked, some of it didn't work. But what I did was I recorded myself all the time. I practice. You could literally ask anybody that worked at the station. Anybody. I was there morning, noon, and night, and all I was doing was I was in the back scratching my butt off and practicing and pretending like I would give myself scenarios. Yo, Mike, you're at Starlets, and nothing but black people just come in. They're all at age 20 and something or whatever. What are you gonna play? All right, cool. Pick a song. All right, boom. Now a bunch of whoever Italian people came in. Like, what are you gonna play? Boom, okay, EDM. All right, boom. Okay, now you have to. The owner came in. They said you gotta play a birthday song. All right, cool. Like, how you gonna mix from this to that and still keep up the energy and talk and stuff like that? I would give myself so many scenarios, and because I wasn't getting those opportunities early on, so I would do a lot of drills. But that's how I found my sound. Was like I would always record myself. I would listen back all the time, and I started putting out my mixes, and I would see what the feedback was. Like, oh, hey, I like this, or I didn't like this. Okay, cool. So then I would just take that and keep listening and listening. And how I liked listening to other DJs, like I was like, okay, what DJs I like? I would write all their names down. I'd be like, okay, I like Camilo. I like Cast One. I like Enough. I like all these names are gonna be similar, by the way. So Cypher Sounds, whatever. okay, what is it that I like about them? How can I take what I like most about them and put it in me and just make like a you know, a ultimate warrior type of stuff. So you're gonna see a lot of things. Like all these people have a lot of things in common. They're very nice. They're great at what they do. They can cut and scratch, and they talk, you know, and they talk well on the mic, and they're very relatable. So I was like, all right, cool. I got to figure out that. So I would just keep talking, 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 talking. I didn't like my voice, so I just kept talking until I found like a rhythm, you know, or I, but that's really how I came up with it in style. I knew I like to cut and scratch. I knew I like to talk to people and relate to them. So like sometimes I'll just be like, I'll cut the music off. I'll be like, yo, my wife just came back from her work trip or whatever, and this is what the first thing she played, bend that ass over, and, you know, some shit like that. I don't know, like I'll just say some dumb shit or whatever, like just to like make people laugh and have fun and have a good time, and that's really what the goal was. So, but I would be very meticulous, have like notes and stuff like that. I'm like, hey, all right, how like last night we played a club. What song did they stop like dancing to? Okay, what song were they really going crazy for? I'll put a star next to it. I have to really break it down because some people, they just do it naturally, and I'm just not that type of person. I'm a visual learner, and also I'm a type of person like I have to like really like plan stuff out. I don't plan my sets, but I have to plan out like and look back at what really happened and really like be meticulous with it. That's just me. And I didn't really hear a lot of people talk about that. And I don't know if I'm the first person to say it, but like, you know, I really have to let people know that like you have to find your method and find what works for you. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're the type of person that, you know, is all over the place, like just do a brain dump, write it all down, record yourself, listen back, and give yourself feedback and be like, okay, like I'm digging this, I'm not digging this, and you'll find your voice. And same thing with like my drops. I would want that generic like Hot97, you're listening to her, DJ Mike Media or
Yeah.
whatever. And then the imaging director told me, he was like, I can get you to drop, but like, don't you want to be different? Like, you know, everybody got that drop. It's like, you know,
Make your own drop, yeah.
yeah, you're gonna sound like everybody else. And he made me make my own drop. So I would basically scour and like try to get drops from artists and stuff like that. And one of my most famous drops was from LMA. He's like, you listen to Mike Medium, he thinks he's the greatest of all time, or whatever. And the drop that like everybody knows me for, you know what I'm saying? And it's because I like really worked hard at it and like try to come up with like something different from what everybody's hearing, just to disrupt them, make them laugh, or you know, get some
Yeah.
sort of reaction. But that's basically something that I want to tell people is like that's how you find your voice. You got to try so much stuff for so many hours, and you might find it quick, you might find it a little later, but it's something that what's his name, the Shape of You, Ed Sheeran, he told me this. He was like, it's like a messed up faucet. Like you turn it on, it's gonna spew out like junk, and then eventually pure water is gonna come out. It's gonna get cleaner and cleaner and cleaner. You just gotta literally like just dump it all out. Like don't be afraid. Like keep going hard, 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 and eventually like your style is gonna come out. You're gonna relax, and you're gonna find your voice and find your tone. Before I probably talk like this, like yeah, you know what's going on. Now I'm like, all right, like calm down,
Yeah,
cool,
you're more
like.
comfortable.
Mhm.
No, I love that. I love that so much. I mean, for me, it's a few things. Like one was practice makes perfect, and in the sense of like how you prepared is almost like an athlete. Like you do the game afterwards. We're looking at the clips, we're reviewing plays, and it's like the same thing with what you're doing with your DJ skills. So I love that. And then also like the biggest lesson for me, also in my career, is being prepared for the opportunity. So making sure that you're actually building your skills and that when the opportunity comes, it's like, no question, you're even if you might be a little fearful or a little nervous, it's like, there's no question that I'm not capable, you know?
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
so I love that for sure. Okay. So I would love to get back into like the workflow at Hot 97. What is a day to day? What does your day to day look like? What, I don't know, like what time you get in the studio? What are you actually doing? What does that look like for you?
So let me tell you what happened at like a couple of years ago, right? Because right now it's a little bit different because of the pandemic. So this is what my schedule was. My schedule was I was full time, so I'm still full time, but Monday through Friday production, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And then while I was doing that, I would do Street Soldiers every Wednesday, and I'd have to go into the office on where it's Flex Desert Freestyles by 12 o'clock to record Street Soldiers from 12 to 1, maybe 1:30, rush back to the station, help out enough with the new at 2 from 1:30 to about 3 o'clock. And then from 3 to 5, finish up my production work. And then after, I would go with Syph, because I think Syph was still doing like comedy and on the air stuff. So I would go with him and help him out with like, comedy shows and whatnot, or DJ or whatever. And then go do clubs. And then
Oh, wow.
I was working at Sirius XM at the time as well too. So I would work from either 7 to 11, or sometimes I'll do 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. or whatever at the same time while I was doing all this other stuff. Like, I know the schedule sounds crazy and like it sounds
It
nuts.
does.
And it's overlapping, but that's how things were. And like, I was still getting my work done. Because how I looked at it was, everyone around me at the station didn't just have one job. All the big people didn't just have one job. And I was like, okay, if they're doing X, Y, and Z and like getting their name out there and whatnot, I can't just do one thing. I have to like, okay, I'm gonna be as serious, and I'm gonna work with Syph. And all that was like working with Syph and Enough and Lisa, like the Lisa one I was getting paid for the station, but like with Enough and Syph, I wasn't getting paid. It was more like, just learning from them and like doing all stuff and helping them out. But it was the schedule was crazy for a reason, you know what I'm saying? It's because it helped prepare me and endure for the things that I'm doing now. Because when you're an entrepreneur and like when you're DJing and like you got to be on top of your business, and you have to like be able to multitask, and still be on point, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
But my schedule was really, really wild. Now it's a lot easier because I still do production, regular 9 to 5, and then I'll DJ at night on the weekends, and then I'll do my voiceover freelance work, and then I still gotta produce music, because I still produce music at the end of the day. Like, I'll do remixes and whatnot, and then I'll still do like little edits and whatnot here and there. So I'm still busy, but literally busy working on me, like working on my business and working on building my brand higher and creating content, like posting videos and whatnot. If you guys like catch my gram at DJ Mike Medium, like you'll see like I'll post like scratch videos here and there, and they'll go crazy and whatnot. But it's to keep up and make sure. Oh, that's another thing, keeping up with music. Jesus, like downloading music like crazy, like stuff like that. Like I'm still not even saying stuff like I managed our HD Chew channel, which plays unsigned artists and stuff like that. So I got to curate that, be on top of all the new music, make sure I mark them up.
And that's at Sirius or Hot 97?
No. What I'm saying as far as the HD2 one is at Hot. And as far as being on top of music, that's just me as a DJ. Like, I have to like always like make sure like, okay, I gotta know who's beefing with what, because sometimes I can't play a Carrie Hilson song with a Beyonce song, and then I can't play a Megan Thee Stallion song with a Nicki Minaj song, and I can, you know what I'm saying, like, especially now Jada Kingdom and stuff lying down. I can't play them back to back now, because everybody gonna look me crazy. Like, stuff like that I gotta stay on top of, and even as an on-air personality, I gotta stay on top of all this news and stuff like that, like Halle Bailey and all them, and like Cat Williams and stuff, like all these things I gotta still do. Like even now I gotta think about all the stuff I'm doing. This is crazy.
So before we get off the call, I definitely want to talk to you about being a heavy hitter. And one, can you explain what that means for people that don't understand what a heavy hitter actually means as a DJ? And then how did that even come about? What did that experience look like?
Yeah, being a heavy hitter is like, the best person to describe it was DJ Ace Move. He said that it's like joining the New York Yankees, or like, it's like becoming like going into the NBA, and like you got drafted by like the Knicks, or like, just it's an amazing feat, especially for a DJ. Something that I wrote down a long time ago. Like, it's something I definitely manifested. It took a while though, but it was definitely a 10-year journey for sure. And I feel like how I got in was I was cool with all of them, most of them actually, and I knew all of them though, but they most likely didn't. Not all of them knew me, but I knew all the ones in the tri-state, and I would always talk to them and like chop it up, and they were always super cool, like always super cool, always ready to give advice. And whenever they did what they needed to do, like when it comes to the club, they were monsters. Every last one of them, every last one of them were monsters. And I was like, yeah, I want to be happy. I want to be happy. I want to be happy. I would say it every single day, like morning, noon, and night. Like I would pray for it every single day. And I think the day that I kind of realized, like, I kept saying it like it was in front of me, and I had to say it like I was already that. And
Yes.
for me, that's what kind of clicked in my head. And I was like, oh wait, I'm already in one. Like done. Like, and I just walked as if like I was already happy. And then maybe what, like less than a year later, then I got it. And I feel like that's kind of what it was. Like I was like, yo, how did I get to where to this point in general? Like how did I get, at Hot, or how was I able to DJ all these different places, so that I said it like it was already done. And I kept saying what I really, really wanted as if like it was ahead of me. So I used to do a bunch of stuff like to manifest it. I would like change my passwords and be like heavy hitter.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, I like have my vision boards and stuff. Look, even my vision board right now, like it's the heavy hitter.
Oh, it's blurred, but I
Oh, my
believe you.
bad. But yeah, it was it was I had my vision board up on top, like, and I had an affirmation: I'm attracting money, love, and amazing opportunities as easy as I breathe. I would say that every day. But that was the thing that like really got it. But to those that don't know what it is,
Oh, sorry, continue. I was gonna ask, was there an actual like audition process, or is it kind of like once you build up your credibility, it's like they come looking for you?
No, I mean, so basically what happened with me was just like, a few people just put me to the side and was like, yo, like, what's good? Like, and I was like, yeah, I want to do it. That was years before I became one. Years,
Okay.
years before. And then, when I never when my name wasn't called a few times, I was like, damn, like what's going on? Sort of what it did was it made me like work harder, and that's what I really appreciated. It really made me work hard. I was like, okay, cool, boom, no worries. Like I wasn't upset or anything. I was like, okay, I just literally focus. I was like, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, I gotta do this. Like I gotta everyday post, everyday practice. I practiced so hard. One time like I think they made an announcement and like I didn't get called, and I think I stayed in the booth for like the whole weekend. Like it was crazy. Like, but it made me way better. I'll tell you that, it made me way better. So like I appreciated the journey. Like when people say that now, it's like appreciate the journey. Like I really appreciated it because like it made me just better. So
Yeah.
but yeah, so it did, people spoke to me, and then one day at a random, I think it was like a random industry event, enough was like, hey yo, I was like, what's up? He's like, yo, you might wanna hit people up and tell them to, that you want to be down. I was like, well, he said that. He's like, I put your name in the pot, type of stuff. I was like, word. So I was trying to like pretend like, I was like chilling. Like I was like, yeah, cool, whatever. And then I was talking to somebody. I was like, yo, you need to show that you're excited. Like you can't just be like trying to be
Right.
off. I was like, okay, cool, because I am excited. Like, yeah, let's go. So I just hit up a bunch of people, and then I got the call, and it was like, yeah, yo, it was at a holiday party. It was like, yo, welcome to the newest member, DJ Mike Medium. I was like, oh, shit. The announcement didn't happen yet, but they were just saying like, yo, welcome Mike Medium, have here. I was like, oh shit. So I still didn't like believe it until like I was like, yo, I'm not believing until the day, like until they say it out their mouth, and it has to be on Hot 97 because I would always hear it on 97.
Yeah.
So the day it happened, I think it was New Year's Eve, and no, was it New Year's Eve? Yeah, it was New Year's Eve, and they started making announcements, and it was like at 12 o'clock, and they started saying other people's names, and it was like it was an all day thing. It happened till like until almost midnight. I was like, yo, the day kept going longer and longer and longer. I was like, and I started realizing it was like
Dang.
they started naming people in alphabetical order. I was like, oh shoot. So like, but they were doing it on the radio. So I think Cass won, Enough, and then Camelo. And then when Camelo came on, um, he said Manny Mills. I was like, okay, cool. I was like, and then he's like, it was like DJ Mike Medium, and I was at home, and I had the radio on, and my wife was next to me, and I screamed. I was like, and then she surprised me with like a cake that said "Have you hit a cycle?" I was like, oh.
Oh, probably like one of the best days of your life, right?
What? I was talking crazy. I was talking insane. I was like, motherfucker, you can't see. I was going nuts.
So
And
would you consider this one of your like, because I normally ask like what my guest like biggest boss move is. So would you consider this like your biggest boss move?
one of my biggest boss moves was bagging my wife.
I respect it, yes.
That's up there, but no, yeah, heavy hitters is definitely a big one, but it's definitely family for sure. Like, you know, I know I can call anybody up and chop it up with them, but like, you know, it's good that we all got our own thing, and like we can all help each other whenever we need to. But it's definitely like a brother and sisterhood for sure. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's really, really dope. Just being able to just chop it up with everybody, like all my favorite DJs, literally in one collective.
Nice. So I normally do a segment called How I Do It. How I do it segment. And so I would love to know, I was listening to one of your interviews and you were talking about how you leveled up your career by clearing out some of the things that were not helping you grow. So I would love to know, how did you clear out the old to allow the new in? And how did you intentionally elevate your career? I think you talked about it a little bit about like how hard you were going, like how things like not becoming a heavy hitter sooner really motivated you. But was there any particular time when it was like, I really need to elevate in my career, and you cleared out some things? So like, what did that process look like for you?
There was a time when like I was staying at the station because I didn't have enough money to go home. So like I would always work, and like I was doing like Postmates and stuff. That was going crazy. But like people at the station would always like randomly like pull me to the side and like tell me like, you know, they would give me compliments and whatnot. And then there was one day like at Street Soldiers, and every time people saw me on Street Soldiers, like I was starving, like my stomach and like my ribs, I was hungry. But there was one time at Street Soldiers where after the show, they were like, yo, they were taking pictures, and they were like, yo, Mike, come take a picture with us or whatever. I was like, nah, I'm a nobody, you know. Yo, everybody stopped what they doing. It was like the record player like that like it happened, and it was like they came up to me, it was like yelling at me like, don't you ever say stuff like that, like words are powerful, whatever. I was like, words are powerful, okay. I mean, it's not like I haven't heard that before, but like if they're successful, I'm like, if they're trying to really preach that to me, that must mean something. I'm like, but I was like, yo, I don't have anything. I really basically don't have anything. And so I really took that to heart. And like what I started doing was I started going back to like, you know, people probably gonna laugh, but like The Secret and stuff like that, whatever. And like I would
Such a
put
good
like
book.
yeah, great book, great documentary. And like I would put like affirmations on the back of my on my wallpaper or whatever, the one I told you about, the I'm attracting money, love, and amazing opportunities as easy as I breathe, because I saw this other DJ named Mike Nasty. Shout out to him. He had it on his phone, and I was like he's successful, like too, like he's nice. Like if he has it on his phone, it must be working. So I would just, anything that looked good to me and felt good to me, I would absorb, and like I would take it, and I would always say stuff. I would if I did say I missed a train or whatever, usually I'd be like, oh, I missed a train, damn. And then instead of me saying damn, I'm like, you know what, that probably wasn't my train. Maybe that wasn't for me. Everything happens for a reason. So, thank God I made the other train. And thank God I made it to work on time. Thank God I woke up today. Thank God I was able to buy coffee. Thank God, I have God in my life. Like all that stuff. Like it really started with like me and God. You know what I'm saying? And like in my brain. And
That attitude of gratitude.
yes, yeah. So I would write down, like I would watch a lot of Steve Harvey, and he said he's like, write down 300 things that you're grateful for or something like that. So I would write stuff down, like, I'm thankful for my family, I'm thankful for, my career, thankful for, being around on my this, that, and the third. And I just kept doing that every day. And then I would, I would watch a lot of people that I felt like said that they really struggled and figured out how they kind of got it. And I would just follow that, like Tiffany Haddish. She said, she wrote down all the things she wanted to accomplish. I was like, all right, I want to do this. I want to go to Japan. I want to be a heavy hitter. I want to be on air at Hot 97. I want to do this. I want to find a wife. I want to whatever. And I did everything on that list, knocked it out one by one. And then I think reason why that works when you focus on a goal, I feel like it changes. It helps shape your personality. So it naturally like helps you like weed out what you don't need in your life. Because then it's kind of like, wait, that doesn't feel right. Like that direction is not gonna go in the direction that I want to go to. You know what I'm saying? So, okay, cool. Like I want to be a heavy hitter. Would going to, this place that is known for bad things or whatever be helpful to me? You know what I'm saying? Would that help the brand? No, it wouldn't.
Yeah.
We're trying to remember when people were doing what is it, forex or something like that, like
Oh
people
yeah.
people trying to hit me up like, hey, like, can you want to do forex? We're doing forex, help me go to my goal. Like, no, you know what I'm saying? Like, with being a good person and being nice and trying your best every day, like, yeah, you're gonna fail, but like, would that help you get to your goal? Yeah. Like, and that's another thing too, like I'm not afraid to fail in public. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can go all the way back to my stuff. I was trash. But I tried stuff, you know what I'm saying? I tried to post and different things and whatnot. I'm still learning, you know what I'm saying? But like, I'm not afraid to show that because I feel like there's somebody out there that's looking. It's like, yo, this guy's like, all right, for example, best example, the Target guy. You seen him on TikTok? The guy that does the Target runs, Drew Walls,
No,
Drake.
I don't know.
Okay, let me put you on. So Drake just did this trend, right? It's a trend where this guy, he woke up in the day, he records himself waking up, he records himself taking a shower, he records himself like putting cologne and getting dressed and whatnot. He records himself leaving his house, he records himself driving out of his parking lot. Like, so he basically takes his tripod, he sits it down, he gets in his car, he drives off, stops, gets out the car, takes the tripod, then moves it and shows himself driving away and then stops and then like and then he goes all the way to Target. He records himself like shopping. He records himself going to the checkout, and there's people like looking at his camera like, what the, and people are laughing at him because it's like, yo, you're really like doing all this like for clout, so like that, whatever.
Yeah.
This video goes viral, so viral that because he's using Drake's song in the background, so viral that Drake does the challenge himself. Now it's a challenge now. So Drake does it where like he's recording himself throughout the day, literally doing nothing, just like waking up and drinking and having fun with his friends and then going to sleep and wearing his do-rag, like all stuff like that. That guy, the original guy, was shown trying. He was trying to make content. And people were laughing at him. You're only delusional until like you're delusional until you're proven right, and then people think you're a genius. You know what I'm saying? That's what Busta Rhymes said. So just keep trying, keep doing different things. You know what I'm saying? And like that's kind of what's gonna keep you going. So I wasn't afraid to like mess up and like when I'm at the club or whatever, I still mess up to this day. You know what I'm saying? Stuff here and there. To me, you know what I'm saying? Some people probably don't hear it, but I still mess up sometimes for myself. And like I'm not afraid to mess up because then like I feel like when you could recover, that, that's where
That says more.
yeah, that's that like if Michael Jordan is down or LeBron's down in the game, them coming back is an amazing story because they faced the adversity. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes things ain't just gonna go right for you, but it's how you pick yourself back up, and I feel like that's what determines a champion and a winner and somebody successful.
Love that. Love that. Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that. So the last segment, I do three questions where I ask, what do you regret? What do you hope for? And what do you want to manifest and receive? So for you, what do you regret?
I regret being embarrassed about asking questions. I would always, or asking, well, technically asking for help or whatever, because like
Hmm.
I would always be afraid to talk to people. Like I didn't want to feel, I don't want to sound dumb. I don't want to sound like I was reaching. I don't want to sound like, this, that, and the third. And my dad told me this a long time ago. He told me, it's like, I was like, yo, Dad, I want to be on the radio. I want to be on the radio. He's like, why don't you just ask them? I was like, Dad, you just can't just ask them to be on the radio. Like, come on. He's like, okay, how much? I was like, how much what? He's like, how much is it to talk to them? Like, I'll pay for it, no problem. Like, I was like, you don't have to pay
Oh.
to, he's like, you don't have to pay to talk to them or whatever. He's like, oh, so it's free. I was like, oh, okay. Like asking is free. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And when you have nothing in this world, if you're homeless or whatever, no matter, like, you can talk, and if somebody's gonna say no, they say no. But what's the worst that's gonna happen? You know what I'm saying? Like, they'll
Mm.
probably give you advice. So, that's something that I would say I regret, is like just being embarrassed to like ask for help or ask questions. Because if I did it sooner, I'll be where I am a lot quicker. You know what I'm saying? But I don't
Yeah.
regret it because I'm happy where I am.
I totally feel that. I totally feel that. So what do you hope for?
What do I hope for? World peace.
Yes. Please. And what do you want to manifest and receive?
What do I want to manifest and receive? Um, hmm. Well, the reason why I'm thinking about it is because like the first thing that comes to my mind is like I just want to make sure my family is like happy, healthy,
Hmm.
and successful, and um, I want to make sure everybody in the world, like, I just wish people were just nicer to each other. To be honest with you, in the world, because like that's something that we're all really quick to hate.
Yeah.
Not we're all, but most of us are really quick to hate. Like we gravitate towards it more.
And I feel like people, unfortunately, like we remember anger more. Like if people do something negative, it's like you kind of almost remember it more than you remember the good sometimes. So
Yeah,
it feels like the world is sometimes a lot darker than what it actually can be. So,
yeah. And I feel like when you know that, like, if somebody can control you and make you angry, like they control you. You don't control
hmm.
yourself. And I feel like we need a little less in that. But if we're talking about me personally, like, obviously, like, I want to quadruple my income, and hopefully get like an agency and that representation, and like, um again, I want to receive more love. I want to create a stronger bond with like all my followers and whatnot, and give back. Like, there was one time, I did something with DJ 09. Like, he was streaming, and it was like Mother's Day. He was giving away like, I think, like $50 or something like that, whatever, to one lucky mother. And I was like, I'm gonna put 100 on that. Like, you can split it up, or give
Hmm.
them like 150 or whatever. But I want to do more like that. I want to give back more, because I feel like, it's the right thing to do for me, but like also, like, I know there's people out there that struggling, that like need help, and it's kind of like what Kyle Williams said. Like, if I'm gonna come to your spot, like, why not like give my tie to where you at? Like, if I'm gonna go to your city and you're gonna pay me all this money, let me like bless somebody, or bless a few people. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to be
Yeah.
able to do that.
Love that. Love that. Well, thank you so much for joining Talks with Mia. This was like such an amazing conversation. So I appreciate you being so open and honest and funny with all of your anecdotes and advice.
Thank you, appreciate it. That's the whole goal.
All right. All right. And so until next time, we will see you next time, you guys. All right. Love always.
Make
I'm
sure y'all
still
follow your
trying.
boy.
Yeah. All of the information will definitely be in the description where you can reach out to Mike Medium and follow him, listen to his music, and support him.
Yes.